This is one of the places that Paul Freeman said it happened at. He's said it's happened at a couple of places. It's about 5.5 miles away from the Shoe Fly Creek area. That's the place that his fishing partners that were camping with him said that he filmed it. They're within 5 or 6 miles of each other. So this general area is a great place to look around. You know, unfortunately, Paul Freeman passed away, and even if he was still alive, he may still be keeping this place to himself. But this is a spring. From where we're at, we live near a place called Monte Cristo, and it's a Bigfoot sighting hotspot in Utah. And there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings around the springs on top of Monte Cristo. This is the top of a mountain that we're on right now in the Blue Mountains, and here's a water source, so I would expect Bigfoot sightings to happen around this water source. Yeah, unfortunately, the other area, the other trailhead, it looks like the loggers have dismantled the sign into the area while they're doing their logging in the other area, but we were able to find the trailhead for you guys to Shoe Fly Creek.
Right here.
Does smell like a dirty animal. It smells like a dirty animal back here. I believe Paul Freeman wanted to keep the exact spot a secret, and was only willing to take certain professionals to the exact spot that the film footage actually happened. It's because he gives kind of vague reports, and he kind of talks about different places, different times that he's interviewed. We're at one of the spots that he says it happened, Deduct Springs. He also says it happened near Tiger Canyon. His fishing buddies, who I believe don't really give a crap about Bigfoot, that were with him when everything happened, they say it happened near Shoe Fly Creek. Shoe Fly Creek is closer to Tiger Canyon than where we're at now, but it's only about 5-6 miles from where we are. The reports always say it's in Washington, but being here myself, we're barely across the Washington border in Oregon. I really believe his famous footage actually happened in Oregon. Paul Freeman has been part of the Bigfoot scene since June 10th, 1982, when near Walla Walla, Washington, he first encountered a hairy, reddish-brown Bigfoot, nearly 8 feet tall. The muscular, bearded, 6 foot 4 inch tall, 265-pound Freeman was working as a watershed patroller for the U.S. Forest Service. Freeman recalled for reporter David Foster he was 60 yards away. I watched him walk the length of 2 football fields. He'd take a few steps, look back at me, and take a few more steps. Then he went up over a hill and disappeared. When word got out, Freeman became an instant celebrity, but the fame was spiked with ridicule. Reporters hounded him, his supervisors doubted him. Anonymous caller said he was crazy and threatened to take his 3 children away. Freeman quit his Forest Service job and moved away. He drifted through a series of jobs. A need for vindication, he says, drew him back to Walla Walla in 1984. Well, if Paul Freeman's being honest, this is the area that he was at when he filmed the Bigfoot. If his fishing buddies are being honest, it happened 5 miles from here. Back in the Walla Walla area, Paul Freeman became an almost full-time Bigfoot hunter. After the late Dr. Grover Krantz began finding dermal ridges and Freeman discovered plaster casts in the 80s, Freeman gained some respectability. It is noted that Paul Freeman's foot casts were a critical piece of evidence that convinced Krantz of the reality of Sasquatch. It was a turning point for Bigfoot studies. In 1994, Freeman captured a purported Bigfoot on video near the Blue Mountains region. The footage is considered to be authentic by some Bigfoot investigators, but is considered too low resolution to be conclusive by most. When I saw the footage the first time in the mid-90s, right away I was like, this is a real thing. That was my gut instinct. And I could not understand why it wasn't taken seriously by everybody else. Then, several years later, Dr. Meldrum got involved, and he authenticated the dermal ridges as coming from a real animal. After Dr. Meldrum got involved, everybody, including skeptics, started taking the subject of Paul Freeman's video seriously and giving it the notoriety I believe it deserved from the very beginning. The footage that Freeman took depicts Freeman investigating and casting a line of fresh juvenile footprints in a remote, gated area of the Blue Mountain watershed. After casting the tracks, he examines the creek area and notices more adult tracks, evidently fresh ones. The tracks show travel in two directions, both approaching and leaving the water. As he continues to follow the footprints, he hears noises in the brush and subsequently films an adult Sasquatch and then another adult Sasquatch with its young. And back home we call this Bigfoot salad. This milkweed stuff. It always seems to grow near some mountaintop springs where we're from. It's so thick something could just be laying off the side of us just a few feet. I mean, especially in stuff like this. I mean, something could be 5 feet into that and you just wouldn't see it. This is just a thick, lush forest here in the Blue Mountains. Lots of habitat, lots of room to stomp around. We were talking where we hike back at home. It's higher elevations. We usually hike anywhere between most of the places we go to are between 7,000 and 10,000 feet. And here in Washington and Oregon, we get to hike, under 5,000 feet. I mean, we're hiking in the 4,000 or 5,000 foot range. And some of you that live close to the coast, you guys, that's high elevation for you guys. But we're at home in this elevation, so we're not going to be breathing as hard and struggling for breath like we do at the high elevations in Utah and Idaho and Colorado. There's a lot of places that I struggle for air because it's so thin. And just about everybody on our team at one point or another has had altitude sickness. But here the air just seems really thick because we're hiking about the same altitude as where we actually live.
Like walking down the sidewalk.
Uh-huh.
Except for lots prettier.
Much. It's the time of day where animals are moving. We saw some deer about an hour ago. I made the comment, well, hopefully Bigfoot's moving too.
Just need to get lucky and he needs to cross our path. At a safe distance, please. Well, we hiked in Oregon looking around for Bigfoot near the Shoofly Creek area at Deduct Spring. Showing you the area where one of the spots that Paul Freeman said this happened. I have heard a statement where he said it happened on the Washington-Idaho border. What, we're like 75, 80, maybe even 100 miles from the Idaho border. Something laid there for a little while.
There's a whole bunch of big...
Bunch of spots where something laid down in the same spot that you said you could smell something stinky, Jenny. And I was saying that I could smell a stinky animal. Thought it was Bigfoot because that'd be a huge Bigfoot family because I'm seeing about 10 spots that stuff laid down in this tall grass.
Probably elk beds.
We may have scared them off on our hike in. Recently something's been laying here, lots of somethings. Yep, they've been moving through here and laying down in here too. If we find anything interesting, I'll certainly film it for you guys. If you enjoyed the Blue Mountains, getting to see what the Paul Freeman Bigfoot sighting area looks like, keep watching. We're going to keep on squatching.